Welcome, this is your Option Monster Volatility Sonar Report. From the floor of the CBOE, I'm Jamie Tyrrell with Group 1 Trading. Well, there are a couple very troubling news stories for the market this morning. The first being the GDP number. It was much lower than expected, showing a much bigger year-over-year decline than the market had priced into their models. And the other one was Citibank. The government upped their share in Citibank to 36%, bringing it very much closer to 50% which would be required for the government to be the majority shareholder in one of our nation's largest banks. So both of these really pumped the market downward. The Dow flirted with the 7,000 barrier and the S&P 500 was down over 2%. The market, when we opened today, really felt like it was on the brink. It felt like it was on the brink of either falling off a cliff and just really falling down, or coming back a little bit. So in the morning, the VIX opened up big. We were up 2.5 points on the future. The cash was up 2.5. We were trading in the 46-47 range. The first order of the day was to buy the March 60 calls for 135. So that was increasing those fears about upside volatility, about the possibility of a catastrophic drop. Those fears have really subsided today. The market has rallied enough to really put fear away for today, or so it looks for now. The VIX backtracked and is actually down on the day. The market is still down on the day, but fear has gone from 44 to 46, and now we're up around 43.5 in the future. One big order that took a lot of pressure off of the upside was the April 50-70 1x3 call spread. So the customer here wanted to buy one April 50 call to sell 3 April 70 calls. He paid $3.10 on the April 50 call, sold each of those April 70 calls for 85 cents. So he took this position for paying 55 cents. Between 50 and 70, the position performs just like the April 50 call. And he'll make money over 50, make up to $20 at 70, and then it very quickly loses value. So by the time you hit 80, you're at a break even here, and then you're very short that extreme upside. So for the customer, it was an attractive bet for him, because you get the same power of the April 50 call between 50 and 70, and you're paying only 55 cents rather than $3.10. For the crowd was the one who really stepped up and sold this. It was mostly market makers on the sell. This was a very attractive bet because we've had a lot of buyers of those April 70s. So those big up gap numbers people are worried about in the crowd. So those 70s, somebody bought last week for 95 cents. Now these are trading 85 future in a similar spot. They get to buy back 3 of those. They're giving up one of the 50s, but the at the moneys have been trading back and forth more, and the upside has been bid. So it was attractive for the customer because they got the same power of the April 50 between 50 and 70, and it was attractive to the crowd because they got back some of those big upside units in case of a gap to 80 or 90 or 100 in the case of a major catastrophic event. So the trade went up 55 cents. It traded 2,500 by 7,500, so that's 10,000 contracts right on that trade right there. And that's what we've had going so far. That's taken some of the pressure out of those upside calls because the crowd's getting all those units back, the April 70s, so they're not so bid on the April 80s. The April 95s traded today for 15 cents, those traded on the bid. A lot of downward pressure on that far upside in March and April. So that's what we got going here. We're heading into a weekend. We'll see where we open on Monday and what's going on then. Jamie Tyrrell, Option Monster.
Folks, if you watch Jamie Tyrrell present great information about the VIX every day, information that can help you make money, and you want to understand more about it, well, you should consider coming to our Invest Like a Monster conference in New York City, Saturday, March 7th. It'll be a fantastic event. We've got Mark Fisher, one of the biggest energy traders in the world. Mark normally charges $2,500 for a one-day event. Mark Fisher is one of the headliners at this event. We've got my brother, Pete Najarian from Fast Money. We've got Guy Adami from Fast Money. We've got Vince Farrell from Soleil Securities. I'm going to be there. This is going to be one of the biggest events in New York City. It's going to be Saturday, March 7th at the Sheraton, and I can't encourage you enough, folks, if you've always wanted to learn more about the VIX, if you want to learn more about options, how to position yourself to make money in bull markets, bear markets, whatever, this is an event you really should not miss. I know I sound like a salesman there, but it's $149. Folks, the one we did here in Chicago sold out in 2 weeks, so make sure you don't miss out. There is limited seating available, and there is no upselling. We're not going to get you into the room and then say, well, you can't get out of the room until you buy a $5,000 seminar or a $10,000 seminar. We're going to give you solid all-day information from 8 in the morning until 4 in the afternoon, so you can mix and mingle with the folks that you've been listening to all day. All of that only at the Invest Like a Monster Conference in New York City, Saturday, March 7th. We hope to see you there.